Okay, so OpenAI just released Codex. So in this video, we're going to get a first impression, try it out, and try to make sense of everything. So a few weeks ago, OpenAI released Codex CLI, which is an open source command line interface, very similar to Claude Code. But today, they're releasing Codex in ChatGPT, which is very similar to Devin. It works in the cloud on a virtual machine within OpenAI servers. Introducing Codex, a cloud-based software engineering agent that can work on many tasks in parallel, powered by Codex One. Unlike Windsurf and Cursor, there is no GUI, and unlike Claude Code, it's not in the command line. It all happens within ChatGPT. Codex can perform tasks for you such as writing features, answering questions, fixing bugs, proposing pull requests, and each task runs in its own cloud sandbox environment, preloaded with your repository. So Codex is powered by Codex One, a version of O3 optimized for software engineering, trained with reinforcement learning. Each task is processed independently in a separate isolated environment, preloaded with your code base. So we're already getting an idea here that you have to have your code base online. It takes between 1 and 30 minutes. They talk here about the agents.md file, which is kind of like Cursor rules or Windsurf rules, telling Codex how to function, how to look at your code base. Here's some benchmarks. Benchmarks are nice, but they're kind of self-serving, so I don't really pay too much attention to them. I think it's better just to try it out. So Codex operates entirely within a secure, isolated container in the cloud. During task execution, internet access is disabled, limiting the agent's interaction solely to code explicitly provided via GitHub repositories and pre-installed dependencies configured by the user via setup script. The agent cannot access external websites, APIs, or other services. So this is what I was afraid of. You have to have your entire code base on GitHub. You have to have your dependencies installed. It can't access the web. It can't get the latest documentation. Looks like we're not going to get MCP support here. And lastly, they're saying it's only available to pro, enterprise, and team users. Before we actually get into it, here's a few things I want to talk about. One, I expected them to announce the Windsurf acquisition, but this kind of makes me rethink that because they just announced something that kind of competes with Windsurf, which it's different than Windsurf because Windsurf is local on your computer, similar to Cursor. Yesterday, Windsurf released SWE 1, our first foray into building frontier models for complex software engineering tasks. Unlike what Windsurf was doing until now, they released their own models, so they're not based on other people's models. Then again, OpenAI just released their own coding model, Codex One, which works with Codex, so it's kind of confusing. Windsurf says that SWE 1 performance closely matches that of Claude 3.5, GPT 4.1, Gemini 2.5. So they're claiming this is a very powerful model, and we'll try that out later in another video. And the other thing I want to talk about is Cursor officially pushed version 0.50, which also has background agent mode. Cursor agents can now run in the background. This allows many agents to run in parallel and have them tackle bigger tasks. Agents run in their own remote environments, and I'm not sure which models will be running as the background agent for Cursor. I'm guessing it's not their own proprietary models. This announcement by Cursor sounds very similar to what we just saw with Codex. Anyways, let's try out Codex and Codex One. Okay, so ChatGPT on the web, I just pressed Codex. Let's try this out. Research preview. Move faster with Codex, a cloud-based software engineering agent that answers code-based questions, executes code, and drafts pull requests. Get started. Okay, so now we have to set up multi-factor authentication, connect to GitHub, and we'll authorize the ChatGPT connector. So right now I'm giving access to one single repository. This is my GitHub account. I guess you could add multiple GitHub accounts. Let's create an environment. And by the way, I don't know if this is going to work. This is a repository that I had up on GitHub. I didn't change the repository in any way. I'm assuming it will work, but GDB Greg Brockman did say that you have to kind of adjust the way you think about coding to work with Codex. So I'm not sure if this is going to work out of the box, but let's see. Just like ChatGPT has 3 different presets: explain the code base to a newcomer, pick a part of the code base that seems important, fix a bug, go through the code base, find issues, propose one task to fix a typo. Let's just press start tasks. So what I see is happening is those 3 tasks that we saw all started to run in parallel. Pretty cool. And I never created an agents.md file, so I'm not sure what I was looking at there. So while this is running, the assumption is that you already have a project up and running on GitHub, meaning unlike Cursor, unlike Windsurf, unlike all these other tools, you can't really start from scratch. Maybe if you start from an empty repository, but from what it looks like right now, you already have to have a working project, a working repo, and then you could use Codex to improve it or fix it or whatever. So now we see the CLI, it's running. We can see the log. It starts the environment. It turns the internet off. Add dependencies the agent needs in the environment setup script. So we have to make a specific setup script. It says, I'll start by checking the repo root for the agents.md file. I didn't set up an agents.md file. And you see down here, no such file or directory. There's no agents.md, but there is a codebase.md. I'll check there for instructions. The codebase.md is just documentation. I'll focus on guiding newcomers with next steps. The other two processes are running. Find and fix a bug in codebase. Let's see what happened here. Pick a part of the codebase that seems important and find and fix a bug. Close the missing button tag in the pop-up script to ensure proper HTML structure. npm test, fail to run tests. Okay, so let me just give you my initial impression here. It looks cool, but you have to be able to prepare what you're working on to work with Codex. You have to have your code base set up and working. You have to have setup scripts. You have to have your agents.md file. You have to set it up to have all the dependencies. You have to set it up to pass your environment variables also to Codex to get everything to work. You can't just take your repo that's working, and this differs greatly from the way we use things like Cursor and Windsurf, Claude Code, even Codex CLI, because what happens is it pulls it off of GitHub as is, disconnects from the internet, and starts running it in a virtual environment. And this might be much better for engineering teams, for big companies. Not me. I like to have this granular control, and it seems like there's a lot more of a learning curve and a lot more setup that you need to do here. So I'm going to keep playing with this and keep trying to understand it, adding more repos, trying to set it up so that I could work for Codex. I don't like that it doesn't have connection to the internet. I don't like that we can't feed it context. We can't feed it latest documentation. So yeah, that's my first impression of Codex. I'm sure there's so much more that can be done with it, either now or soon in the future. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm just not seeing the bigger picture here. But I'm definitely going to try running Cursor's background agents because it seems very similar to this, minus all the extra setup and configurations. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day.